I forget where I was totally going with this point. Oops. Hey everybody, I'm Catherine and I'm here today with another book review for you. So first off, I definitely want to thank Simon Pulse and Edelweiss for allowing me to read this well before the book was actually published in paperback, which was actually last summer, so yeah, it's been a while since I've been meaning to do this review. The book in question is Misbehaving by Abbi Glines, which was awesome. So in typical Abbi Glines fashion, we have a female and a male character who were previously mentioned in other books. We have Jason, who is Jax Stones' brother, and we have Jessica, who is Crit's on and off kind of thing, who had a thing with like Marcus or Preston or one of them. She's been mentioned in a couple of the other books, and it's actually really nice to be able to see her character in a different light. So this book starts off with a bang, and it is awesome. Basically, Jessica goes all Carrie Underwood on her ex's truck with a baseball bat. And while running away, she encounters Jason in his like fancy schmancy sports car, who she makes give her a ride. And then of course, she leaves her baseball bat in his car, so they have to meet again. And thus the whole thing starts. So it's interesting how this book does the whole like lower class and upper crustness that has been seen in the previous books as well, such as with Sadie and Jax and Marcus and Lo. I don't know why, but Jessica and Jason's story fascinated me a lot more on a lot of aspects than all the other ones did. I really enjoyed the fact that Jessica's mother's present and awesome. But she's also, like, you can tell, like, she's done things that she wouldn't have necessarily wanted to do in order to keep her daughter in a safe home. I mean, her mom's a stripper, and Jessica makes her clothes, which is actually really cool. But it's just, it's a very interesting dynamic that's brought into the story, especially when you're then dealing with someone like Jason as the love interest who is from like a very noteworthy and influential family and who has a lot of like political type friends. I don't know, I thought it was neat to read and just experience. So this book, I feel, takes a lot more of a kind of like real life, kind of low point spin on it. You see Jessica dealing with the fact that she doesn't want to end up like her mother as much as she loves her mother and admires her for being a very strong woman, but she doesn't want to become what her mother has become for reasons like her mother has. So she really wants to make something of herself more than essentially relying on the possibility of her smoking hot bod and being a stripper in order to pay the bills later in life. So you're seeing Jessica try and make something of herself, and yet she keeps continually hitting all of these roadblocks, and just life is not nice to her, essentially. It's basically just shaking its finger in her face and saying, you can't have the nice things. Which is where Jason kind of comes in. I find it really interesting that he is very chivalrous, and he comes in and he's very much Jessica's white knight while she's still able to completely take care of herself. The fact that he's there is like bonus because she doesn't necessarily need him, but having him is a nicety, basically. You're also dealing a lot with the different mindsets between Jason and Jessica. So Jessica's very much like, you know, you kind of have to hide your feelings, you know, grit your teeth and just bear down and like really just take care of yourself, whereas Jason kind of just goes with the flow. Everything's kind of provided for him, like all of this. So their viewpoints and the way that they react to stuff of course, I mean, causes a lot of the drama in the book, but it's actually a very interesting thing to be reading and then putting yourself, since it has the alternating viewpoints of both characters, seeing how they see each situation from a different point of view, and from that character's point of view, it makes total sense. Like all the other books, I was really rooting for this couple pretty much from the very beginning of everything. I wanted to be able to see Jessica with a really nice guy who treated her well, and I wanted Jason with someone who wasn't going to just kind of kowtow to what other people want to have happen and want her to do. I wanted him definitely with someone who had a mind of her own, which Jessica has. Of course, this would not be an Abbi Glines novel without all of the drama happening at once. So Jessica's worst nightmare comes true, Jason just doesn't understand, and I thought it was really interesting how all of the events played out and how it was actually dealt with both characters. I enjoyed having characters in this book be ones who were not within the main clique of all the other characters from the previous books. So if I'm remembering correctly, Jessica is actually someone's cousin. But aside from that, she's really someone that the girls who are in the relationships with the guys kind of like don't see eye to eye with, and she doesn't feel comfortable around them, and they don't necessarily feel comfortable around her because she comes, you know, from the wrong side of the tracks. So she hasn't been a focus on any of the other books, and neither has Jason, which I enjoyed having the very, like, almost tertiary characters being brought to primary character and then seeing them later incorporated more so into anything that's going on. I enjoyed watching the interactions of these two main characters with all of the previous main characters, and how you kind of get also a different viewpoint on the characters that you've known from other books from these specific characters themselves. I said characters a lot. Sorry. A character that I actually really, really enjoyed in this book was Jessica's mother. She was she's become a very hard woman in the way that she views life, but I found that a lot of wisdom came from her character, and she was so supportive of Jessica in whatever. And, you know, even while she was sometimes saying, "I told you so," she was always there making sure that, like, she was helping Jessica. I find that with a lot of the previous books, you don't necessarily have parental characters like that. I enjoyed looking forward to the scenes that Jessica and subsequently Jason had with Jessica's mother, because she was honestly a very, very smart and worldly and wise lady, and her scenes always seem to have a big impact on me. I don't know if it's because I also have a mother who's kind of the same, and like, she's always right. And while she's saying "I told you so," she's definitely, you know, supportive in saying "I told you so." So I also really enjoyed that aspect of this book. And comparing this novel to the others, it definitely follows a slightly different path. The other books in the series were very much like boy meets girl. They, you know, kind of start a relationship. It becomes more very quickly. This one, I find it's the same, but it's different. I mean, while they begin a relationship, it's not necessarily a romantic one in the very beginning, although it, of course, because this is a romance novel, it does blossom into more of a romance. It definitely starts as more of like a fuck buddies deal, and then eventually goes from there, which I find personally would be a lot more realistic than meeting someone, falling in love with them right away, and then just that's it. So I think that is all I have to say on this novel. I need to edit this and go to bed because I have to work tomorrow, and I really don't want to work tomorrow. The things we do. So stay tuned for more videos all upcoming for the rest of the month, and soon I'm gonna have to start doing my Book Expo America videos, although I'm gonna try and cut it down from the amount I had last year. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. And of course, let me know down below too if there's any type of videos you would like to see me doing here on this channel. I am trying to do a variety, although still primarily focusing on the book reviews, because I'm always going to be a blogger at heart, and I don't understand why someone would do just like book hauls all the time, because that's a little boring. But anyway, and yes, let me know if you've read the book or if you're interested in this series or Abbi Glines. I am in love with this author. I'm just like, I want all of her books now, right now. So until next time, guys, happy reading.